G'day everybody, I'm Dean Jones from Glam Corner and we're Australia's largest online fashion rental business. And I'm a part of the NORA Advisory Council. And I'm joined today by Nick Yule from Descartes Peoplevox. Nick, mate, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Hope you're having a good day. Thank you for making the time. I think perhaps to kick us off, could you describe for the people at home what is Descartes Peoplevox and what does it do?
Okay, I'll break that down into two sort of different answers. So Descartes is a massive supply chain technology company originating in Canada. They've got huge, global partnerships across the world and have been going on now for probably 30 years. They actually acquired Peoplevox in 2019. Now, Peoplevox is a warehouse management solution solely focused on the e-commerce market. So catering to retailers who have decided to bring fulfillment in-house to help supercharge their growth.
Fantastic. And I think for a lot of people at home, especially when it comes to online retail, you realize very quickly when you started selling a small amount or you're selling a large amount, the logistics and the fulfillment is one of the areas of greatest challenge, but is also an area of greatest opportunity to really craft that experience for customers.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's the customer's experience. I usually say that what I'm not doing is positioning it as a warehouse solution. It's providing a consistent customer experience, and you need to be able to, sort out the foundations of your fulfillment operation in order to do that.
Absolutely. It's what Elon Musk describes as the machine that builds the machine.
Yep, exactly.
It's so important. Fascinating, mate. So, and would you like to take a quick bit of time for the people at home as well to describe a little bit about your particular role inside Descartes Peoplevox as well?
Yeah, so after the acquisition in 2019, I started working with the core team of Peoplevox, which originated in the UK, to sort of head up the Asia Pacific region. So I filled the sales lead role in the Asia Pacific, but I'm right across multiple facets of the business. I get involved in marketing and channel partnership, so I'm really about growing the brand in the region.
Wow, very cool. And so when we look at Descartes Peoplevox and the kind of core service offering, how, in kind of an elevator pitch, how would you describe the core solution that you would say is offered for retailers through Descartes Peoplevox?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is solve the pick-pack issues. We're trying to ensure that we cover four main fundamentals of fulfillment. Ensuring that the customers get the correct items that they've ordered, ensuring our customers are getting those orders in a timely manner, ensure that we're reducing the errors that occur when we're going through the fulfillment process, and finally just providing a snapshot of each stage of the fulfillment process throughout the operation.
Yeah, very interesting. And it's always that plumbing under the hood that the customer doesn't totally really see any insight into.
No.
It just works, it just arrives.
Yeah.
But it's such a core component of success in e-commerce.
Look, it's absolutely fundamental because nothing hurts a customer's experience when buying online, like being told maybe a couple of days after they've placed their order that we're out of stock on this item, that we're going to be shipping out late. With COVID last year, people weren't getting their orders until a month afterwards. Now, in some cases that was unavoidable. In other cases, that just didn't have the right tools in place.
Yes, that's so interesting. So is there a certain type of customer in the life cycle you find comes to Descartes Peoplevox, especially recently? Like, is there a very common pattern that you're currently seeing?
There's probably two main sort of customer or client IDs that come across. They are beginning up, with your small ambitious retailers that have sort of boomed in 6 to 12 month period, and now they can no longer rely on spreadsheets and manual picking and printing out every single order that they receive. And this is when we're getting to sort of between 1 to 200 orders a day. Now, on the flip side of that, we also deal with a lot of enterprise level retailers who might be coming from another system which has limited warehouse features, and they really need to supercharge their pick-pack team.
Absolutely, and as someone who can truly appreciate how hard that stuff is and can be, it's so interesting to hear how Descartes Peoplevox kind of help make that work, and all the components that you guys offer. So perhaps another question I could ask, another lens I could ask Nick is, when would you say it makes sense for a particular online retailer to come to Descartes Peoplevox and say, look, I really need I think I need help with this. So I can focus on the important stuff as well of taking care of my customers.
Yeah.
When do you think that is?
So it's usually when they've had some pretty short-term success. So they've grown in an overnight manner, and they can no longer keep up with either the staff they have in the warehouse or the systems they have, or lack of systems, therefore. So, and we're talking about from that 100 to 200 orders a day mark, when you can no longer, start your day by printing off every single order that's been received the following day, and sort of be distributing those to your team and doing one order per person at a time. That's not scalable. That's not going to get you to 500, 1,000, 10,000 orders a day. And when we're getting into really busy periods, Black Friday, for instance, and you sort of, you're getting into your 10x volume mark, your team's just not going to handle it without the right tools in place.
And those choke points are the things that can catch retailers off guard. There's the average day, and then there's the times throughout the year. And the financial year, Boxing Day, Black Friday, you name it.
And most customers are spending the bulk of their spend for the year during those sales periods. And if you let them down, they're not going to return to you in the quieter periods.
Oh, absolutely. And worse yet, when it happens, we've experienced this ourselves in periods of very high volume. The economic benefit of those periods of high volume, you can sometimes give it all back in wages costs, refunds costs from things that were late. That efficiency is critical to actually monetizing that volume.
Yeah,
so
exactly right.
It's so important, right? So perhaps, Nick, is there any interesting case examples or names that, confidentiality aside, you're allowed to drop, maybe give the folks at home a bit of a sense of the kind of companies that you guys typically work with or build these sorts of solutions for?
Yeah, so we've actually did a webinar yesterday with Mr. Consistent, who are pre-batched cocktails out of the Gold Coast.
Awesome.
And what they do is sort of, I suppose they're providing or removing the distress of trying to make your own cocktails at home. They're delivering these pre-batched mixes that you simply add alcohol to, and they're consistently delivering a great cocktail experience at home. And you can imagine when you're going through, lockdowns, and even if you just want to have your home parties and small get-togethers and things like that, being able to have your own cocktail maker at home is no one else is really delivering that.
That's right. And just like in a fulfillment center, it's one thing to make 3 cocktails. Try making 30 of them. Having something pre-made is actually an excellent solution. How good.
Exactly right. So I really had a lot of fun with them. They got in touch with me about August last year, and they were basically scared about how they were going to get through Black Friday and Christmas. So we had a bit of a quick turnaround on that one, probably quicker than I would have liked, but we had some pressure to make it happen, and we were able to get it done. And again, that was born out of necessity for the right system because they were growing so fast.
Fantastic. And you guys also, do the courier networks come into this side of things too?
So we'll have a dispatch solution that will plug into our system so that our teams in the warehouse, they won't ever need to jump into the dispatch solution via the API link. They'll simply complete the order. It'll send a message to place the booking with the carrier and print out a shipping label.
Oh, great. Because that too, there's just a lot of bandwidth that gets built up, really helping to connect up to all the different types of couriers.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's typically a bottleneck at the pack station, whereby you there's the element of sortation between the orders and the items that belong to the orders, and then which carriers do we book these up with. So we're trying to remove as many bottlenecks as possible. Yep,
fascinating, and it makes total sense for this sort of a solution, especially for an up-and-coming retailer as well. Because if you're selling cookies or you're selling electronics, trying to send 100 of anything out the door in a certain day, you only got an 8-hour, 7-hour shift. It can get very difficult. I think retailers, so to answer that question, when does it make most sense? I think it dawns on most people when they've literally given it their all in a certain 8-hour shift to get however many units had to go out, and they just couldn't do it. And tomorrow is probably going to be the same, probably a bit more, and it's going to accumulate. Really, that's the time it makes most sense. Actually, arguably, it was probably 6 months before that. Sounds like. But no, I think that's a very, very interesting insight, mate.
Yeah, it's funny because you'd think it would just be a case in point when you're talking to smaller brands, but it happens at a lot of larger enterprise retailers as well, whereby they'll be pulling people from different departments to help get through the bulk of the orders that they've managed to secure. And that's only one component, right? There's a lot of time, resource, and outlay that goes into the effort of securing the orders. But then what do you do with it after? That requires, arguably the same amount of attention to ensure that we're not going to let the customers down once they've placed the order.
Actually, it's a question that comes to mind to kind of as a final question to ask is maybe for some of the folks at home that are even part of larger retailers, does Descartes Peoplevox also offer a kind of solution that can help with a bit of that offtake? You know, maybe they may even have their own solution, but also need to de-risk the bumps and the peaks and valleys along the way.
Yeah.
Does Descartes Peoplevox also offer that kind of a solution to come in alongside an existing fulfillment capability?
Yeah, well, we'll generally integrate with an order management system, an ERP, or directly into an e-commerce platform to ensure that, you know, if there are some warehouse features currently being used, we can sort of take that and build on it, because we are solely focused on the pick-pack process. We're not trying to do too much outside of that scope. We're focused on getting that as efficiently done as possible.
Yeah. Makes total sense, and especially for everyone online retail. Anyone's had to try to pack a few orders, stick a few 100 labels on anything in a day will learn very quickly this stuff is hard. So, mate, yeah, Nick, thanks so much for joining NORA Showreels today.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate your time.
Brilliant. Thank you.